with a wealth of experience in government. She served 16 years with the City of Stone Mountain City Council. Give her a hand for that. That's a lot of time. Of those 16 years, 12 years, she was the mayor pro tem. So she comes to us, hit the ground running, knows the ins and outs of government. Of course, you know, DeKalb County government, there were things to learn, but it was easy for her because she had all that experience. She also comes to us as a civil engineer by profession and trade. So I'm going to tell you what I like about that. She's no nonsense. She's about the business. She keeps her head down. You probably will not see her in the newspaper or on the news for anything that's a problem. Probably won't. Not if she can help it. And not if I can help it. We'll do it together. So that's why I enjoy working with Commissioner Chakira Johnson. I'm sorry. Commissioner Johnson. Well, both of them, they're very similar. They're almost like brother and sister in terms of how they go about their business. But she comes to the issues of DeKalb County with a solution-focused disposition. And that works well for me because we don't play in the mud too well. We just like to be about your business, try to solve problems. She's one of 7 votes. I want y'all to remember that. Yes, she's our District 4 commissioner, but she cannot do it all without the support and the collaboration of the other commissioners. So, Commissioner, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Alicia. Yeah, when I did win my election and knew I needed to have a chief of staff, it was a no-brainer to beg Alicia to stay on and work with me. She has been a godsend, and she knows our district well, and she has served our district well. And we really did meet on a street corner waving signs. And the rest is history from there. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. This is the last quarterly breakfast of this year. We do them quarterly, so we'll start in 2026 in January. And we do have a slight pivot to our presentation today. We will have Vivian Cook from Deborah DeBerry's office, but Ms. DeBerry is not feeling well, so she herself will not be here. So Mr. Kingsbury is also going to give us an update on SPLOS. So we pivot around here and we make sure we're bringing good information to our community. I did want to just give a couple brief updates on things happening in DeKalb County and in District 4. A few months ago, you guys may have seen the notice that the Board of Commissioners and the CEO, well, DeKalb County, we purchased 4380 Memorial Drive. Most people know that's where the tax commissioners and election office is. We had been leasing that space for 30 years. We've been paying about $1 million a month, or a year, $1 million a year, I'm sorry. Yeah, it wasn't that, it's bad, but it wasn't that bad. $1 million a year, as well as paying for the upkeep. So being able to purchase that property, it is about 27 acres. Administration is actively working on getting a plan together on how we want to redevelop it and what services, additional services we can bring to that area. As you know, we have a lot of new residential developments happening. Phoenix Station just opened right there at Kensington, and there's 2 other developments, one under construction, one across the street that's open recently. So we got a lot of people in that area, so we need to make sure we're bringing services to that area as well. And again, and that's also like a key point to Memorial Drive corridor, and we all know Memorial Drive is the heartbeat of DeKalb County, and the more we can make that thrive and make that viable, the better it is for all of us, whether you live right there or not. Also earlier this year, we, as the Board of Commissioners, we had to do a rate increase on your water rates, but we also added protections to those who may have a hard time paying their water bills, and the administration, excuse me, Madam CEO was very smart, and she was able to get the Urban League involved, and they're the ones who will administer this program, which we're calling RAP, the Water Rate Assistance Program. And so that has started. If anybody needs information on that, please reach out to our office. Please look it up. It's a really good program. If you're having a hard time paying your water bill, they can help you with that, or if you know a neighbor or someone that is in need of that assistance. Another big item that we took care of or voted on, I think it was last month. We're only 10 and a half months into my first term, but it already feels about 2 years because we're moving. We're doing a lot of work on the Board of Commissioners. We have long meetings. We talk a lot, but we do get stuff done. So, but one of the really big items and really, I'm really excited about this one is the Real-Time Crime Center investment. So over the next 10 years, we made an investment. We will be making an investment of $18.9 million for the Real-Time Crime Center. And that's going to increase our flock cameras. We're going to have pivot tilt cameras. We're going to have shot spotters, drones, and all integrated into our into the police office, into the officers' cars. And it's also going to add additional civilian jobs as well, because we'll need civilian analysts to be watching the monitors and looking at the data. So it's also job creation. So they should have that actually up and running, hopefully, if not the end of this year, the first quarter of next year. Very excited about that and what that's going to do to help us with our crime in DeKalb County. And just also elevate our police department and make it even more stellar than it already is. We have a really great police department, and Interim Chief Pedrick is doing a really good job trying to make sure that we are increasing our numbers of officers. We're still down a lot, but we have seen an increase this year, and these type of investments into the police department will just increase those who want to come work for us. So very, very excited about that. Another interesting item is our SPLOST 2 Residence Review Committee. We are ready to stand that up, and Mr. Kingsbury is going to give us a brief overview of where we are on SPLOST in a little bit. But this is a review committee where we have residents. Each district commissioner gets to appoint a resident to sit on this committee and just be an oversight, be a review committee to make sure that the SPLOST projects are happening in the way that we said that they would happen, that the money is being spent equitably across the county, and just really adhering to the SPLOST rules that we need to be adhering to. So I should be making my appointment in the next week or two. We've been working on that for a while. And then we also have been doing a podcast this year. So we started that, me and my communications specialist, Carrie Cordes, we started that earlier this year, and just last month we had our first guest, and that was Madam CEO. And then this week we taped our second guest. It should be coming out first week in November, and that was Interim Chief Pedrick. So those are really, really informative, and that is what Chakira's Corner is. So I think we have a brief overview or snippet of that.
American dream, and that's what our parents called it, to become a dream deferred. And I'm very fearful that new and young people, because I'm the mother of the 25-year-old, will not have access to home ownership. So creating programs, because what we find is when there's no home ownership, often there is no wealth.
So again, that's a snippet of the podcast that we filmed with CEO Lorraine Cochran Johnson. If you would like to see that, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And like we put one out at the beginning of the month. We also have launched my new website, CommissionerShakiraJohnson.com. And we're trying to make it very informative where you can go and get updates. We also have where you can report an issue or send us an email. So just another way to really connect. We're really focused in the District 4 office and trying to make sure we're connecting with the community, putting information out to the community. And so you can also sign up for our newsletter. So again, I've always known that the best way to connect with our residents is to give them information, keep them informed, so that they know what's going on. An informed citizenry is an engaged citizenry, so that is one of our missions and goals in District 4. And this is my District 4 team. You guys met Alicia Brooks, my Chief of Staff. Carrie Cordes is my Communications Specialist, and Mr. Hayden Clark is my District 4 intern. He just graduated from Miller Grove last year, and he's in college right now. And then here, again, thank you so much. And here's information on how to connect with us. If you need to reach us, we have multiple ways that you can reach us. And we also have magnets out front where you can put it on your refrigerator. My Chief of Staff wanted my face on it, so you can even have my face on your refrigerator. And so before we move on to the next phase, I wanted to take time out to recognize other elected officials in the room. I do see Representative Viola Davis. Thank you for being here. We have Mr. Eric Hubbard from Hank Johnson's office. And we have Mayor Pro Tem Ryan Smith from the City of Stone Mountain. Have I missed any other electeds in the room that I may have not seen? All right. Are there any candidates in the room? All right. All right, thank you so much. So now we will hear from Ms. Vivian Cook from Deborah DeBerry's office. Give her a warm welcome. Thank you.
Good morning. I know y'all can do better than that. I know it's 9 o'clock. I don't know if I need this microphone either. I'm gonna do my best. But good morning, DeKalb County. I am Vivian Cook. I am the real estate manager for the Clerk of Superior Court, where Debbie DeBerry is your clerk for DeKalb County. I come before you today to discuss fans. How many property owners do we have in the room today? Okay, and we have wealth, according to our commissioner. The FANS, our Filing Activity Notification System, is simply that. It notifies you if someone tries to convey a property from you to them. It works in two ways. You can receive an alert through your phone by text message or email, or you can receive it both ways. Once that notification is received, you are able to file a review what is filed and make sure that the information that's listed in that notification pertains to you. Like I say, I'm Vivian Cook, and I'm from Selma, Alabama. But however, there is a Vivian Cook in Harrison County, Miller County, and Paulding County, I think. But I own no properties in those counties. So that's why it's very, very important once you sign up that you review the email or the alert that's provided to you, because it could pertain to you and sometimes it cannot. Also, one thing we advise our citizens to do is to review your deed every 6 months to a year, just to make sure it is still in your name. Make sure it's still in your name, because if you don't have the filing, and have one of my colleagues, she's actually passing out the form now. If you don't have the FANS alert, and this is free. Everybody say free. FANS is free. If somebody tell you $19.95, it's not FANS. But it is a free system that you can sign up for. Unfortunately, today it's going through an upgrading system with new information, but it is a free system where you can receive notifications. Like I say, if the information once reviewed is not pertaining to you, we will advise you to file a police report and seek the advice of an attorney to get advisement on different steps that you can potentially take. Meaning probably filing an affidavit, placing something on record saying that this is a fraudulent deed or this is not me. Let's see here. And I think that is pretty much it. We are The instructions, the flyer that she is passing out, it do have the registration assistance, and I do apologize that we're not able to do the registration due to the upgrade, but the flyer do have instructions on the back. But we are open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5:30, and we will have one of our clerks that's able to assist you with the registration process. Ms. Davis? Oh. Yes, ma'am.
I signed up for the program years ago. Do we need to check every year to make sure, or how do we?
Right. So if you signed up prior to 2024, you would need to sign up for FANS. This is a new system, and it's for the state of Georgia. It's for all 159 counties in the state of Georgia. And you only need one registration. Just you will list all of your properties that you own. So it's not just DeKalb County. You can register your properties if you have one in Catoosa, Chattooga, Cherokee, Miller, Harrison. So it is one program for DeKalb County. And I said it's free. Okay. But yes, ma'am. Okay.
Hello, yes. What are y'all doing actively to stop all this fraud and deed theft? And why aren't these criminals in jail after they steal someone's entire property?
Okay.
You can go to jail for a $5 bad check, but you don't go to jail for a $500,000 house you stole? Come on.
Yes, ma'am. So what our office is actively doing is making sure everyone is registered for FANS. By law, if a document is in recordable format, we have to record that deed and place it on record. However, once you receive that alert and file that police report with the county, I can say for DeKalb County that they are investigating those reports, because they do contact our office and ask questions to us. So DeKalb County is investigating those police reports that are being filed. But our FANS is the only thing that we're able to do, because we have to, by law, place it on public record if it's in recordable format. And I'll come back to her.
She needs to get the mic.
We have folks that are watching this via YouTube streaming, so that's why we need the mic so they can hear.
Yes,
as well.
ma'am.
Good morning. My question is, what about those residents, like those senior residents and those people that are living on fixed incomes that might be affected, that might not have the resources to obtain an attorney or get some legal aid assistance? What is the county, or what does this program do to help them?
So this is just a alert system. So we wouldn't be able to provide any legal assistance from our office outside of the free aid, the legal aid. We'll just have to work with our counties to get some more resources in that area.
There are a number of organizations that offer free legal aid assistance, and if you know of anyone, if this happens to you, and hopefully after today it's not going to happen to you because everybody will sign up for FANS, if you contact our office, then we'll help connect you to those resources. Any other questions?
You said the system is going through an overhaul. When can we file for the FANS?
Monday morning, and our contact number is on the flyer. If you call that number and you ask to speak to Vivian Cook, but I'm very 100% sure that the clerk that answered that phone could assist you, but if you want some further assistance, you could ask to speak to Vivian Cook, I am she, and we'll make sure that that is done. I think I have one over here, and there's one there.
I'll do this one first.
Okay.
If you're already registered, do you have to cancel that? Or once you sign up for this, it will automatically cancel the registration you already have?
Already registered for
The
what?
other program.
So you'll just need a newly registered for this.
Okay.
And if you are a married, or if you're a couple, both parties will need to create their own account because you'll only receive an alert to whatever the email that you designed unless you give that password to the other person. But if you are a couple, you would need to create your own account.
So if you signed up for this and you get an alert, what does that alert mean? That someone's actually taken your deed already?
Not necessarily. You'll need to review the information that's on it to ensure that it is for you. And I know I did receive a call this week. Sometimes the cancellations that are filed, it will send you an alert. If you just recently paid off your home and Wells Fargo or Bank of America sent that cancellation, that sends you an alert as well. And I think that kind of confuses some of the citizens in the communities about, oh, somebody is filing the document. So once you review the information that's on it, if it's not pertaining to you, I want to say that you are okay. But if it is some identifying information, because it's going to list all the parties' names that are listed on that document that is filed and the legal description of the property that is filed. So once you see that, I will contact the police department immediately to file that report.
Ms. Cook, do you know, does it help if you freeze your credit bureau reports, if you lock them?
No, ma'am, because we're not connected to the 3 credit reports.
All right, thank you.
And we do not provide any information to the credit reports because we've had that question before.
All right. Is that it?
Right, and so once you register to keep your account active, so if you do not receive anything within the 6 months, 7 months, just log in to keep it active. It does work, so that means if you do not receive an alert, no one has tried anything against your name and or property.
Do you have a website where you check your deed, or do we have to come into DeKalb County?
We do have a website. I can provide that to the commissioner, so she can place that on our website as well, but it's our landmark system, and you can log into that system for free for research any time of day, any place in the United States. Yes, ma'am. So I will get that information provided.
Thank you, Ms. Cook.
Thank you.
We got one more? All right, we got one more, and we're going to move down the agenda. If you are warm in this room, I apologize. They don't have a way to control the temperature.
Since the state of Georgia has a surplus of funds, I'm wondering why it is that some commissioners or whoever cannot ask that the state get involved in trying to come up with a way for the state to help with helping people who have lost their house due to this kind of situation. Because you're saying that you guys can't do it, all you can do is tell us about it. As seniors, we know we are being
Yes, ma'am. So I have not actually heard of the situation happening in my district. I know I've been seeing, I don't know if you guys have been seeing commercials too, warning us that this is a thing. So I'm grateful that you guys did this morning. I think it's very timely. But we do have a good relationship with our state legislators like Ms. Davis, who is here today. So if we do start seeing this issue and we're getting people reaching out to our office, we can connect with our state legislators and try and make that work.
To tell you the truth, it is happening a lot, even in DeKalb County. And for the seniors, we have drafted a number of pieces of legislation. I think one that just passed is that you used to be able to do this without showing any ID.
Oh, wow.
Now you have to show ID to prove that you are the person that you're filing those papers on. So believe me, we have a list of legislation. It's just that it takes so long to get it through that process. But they're attacking this because it is out of control.
Thank you, Representative. And that's a really key point that it wasn't that long ago, because that legislation is what, about a year old?
This year.
This year. So it's only this year where before, anybody could show up at the clerk's office and make this happen on your property. So this sounds to me, and I'm familiar with the program, this sounds to me no different than anything else when it comes to our home. You just got to take that extra step to protect yourself, no different than if you got an alarm system, you're protecting yourself from folks trying to come in and steal from you. This is just another form of stealing from us, but it's atrocious because it costs so much money to dig yourself out of it prior to this new legislation. And folks will still find themselves in this situation because these folks, if they can just get 1% of us, it's good business for them.
And one thing I want to add with that, the identity process, the one thing that Clerk Deborah DeBerry did do in DeKalb County, we required the ID to file the document prior to this House bill being passed. So that is one thing in DeKalb County that we did require in our office to verify that ID before recording.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
So I do want to acknowledge that Commissioner Ted Terry has entered the room. Thank you, sir, for being here. Wave your hand. Thank you. That is Super District 6 Commissioner Ted Terry, so thank you. And next, we're going to have a SPLOS update from Mr. Chris Kingsbury.
Good morning, everybody. Boy, this fever scared the hell out of me. It's like Halloween's coming up on Friday. This is scary stuff. Full disclosure, Chakira and Ted are both my district commissioners. I live on the other end of District 4. Steve Bradshaw used to say it's the middle of DeKalb because it runs sort of along Reedam Memorial Drive, east to west. I'm at the Farmers Market, Avondale Estates end. Y'all are at the far east end. Go a few more miles, you're in Gwinnett County. Real quickly, does anybody have any questions about SPLOST? No, okay, we won't. I do have to tell everybody, it's interesting. I've been at this for close to 50 some odd years. Went to Towers High School, went to university up the street in Athens, went to one downtown at North Avenue. DeKalb County was the last county in Georgia to have a SPLOST. So many of our clients are on SPLOST 7, 8, 9. Hall County's going to vote on SPLOST 10. I think Gwinnett, next time they vote, will be SPLOST 11. And what's the penny sales tax does for a major county is every time you buy something, good or bad, everything goes up in cost. The state sends 1 cent back to DeKalb County. So for capital projects only, we can't use it for maintenance, we can't use it for salaries, we got to build stuff. What does DeKalb have to build? Well, Wade Walker is the biggest park in District 4. So I call it a legacy park. Back in 1987, I see a lot of seniors out there. I'm a senior. Y'all voted a bond program, $66 million split between $33 million for parks, $33 million for new libraries. Wade Walker in 1987 was expanded under that bond program to what you see today. So the original parts of Wade Walker are pushing 40 years old. So in District 4, SPLOST dollars have put about $10 million back into Wade Walker to renovate and upgrade what had gotten worn out. Countywide, SPLOST 1, we got about $450 million in the collected. The Board of Commissioners has authorized, allocated. We've spent a little over $400 million of that. And someone mentioned, Chakira, you mentioned the Memorial Drive property. Who remembers Treasure Island? Yeah, I worked there after school one year. And who remembers Home Depot? Yeah, that was their first store. So the biggest piece of the unspent SPLOST 1 budgets were dollars set aside for improvements and renovation and potential relocation of the police special operations building, the old jail, Bobby Burgess building. So with the county buying the Memorial Drive property and all of the LCI and the apartments and the growth that's happened in that little corridor, Memorial Drive, 285, Kennington MARTA station, the county's got some resources to help kickstart some redevelopment there with a combination of, I think the term Chakira has heard, Ted's in the back of the room, the potential for public-private partnerships. So with the county controlling the real estate, they can become a partner in how that interchange changes. Some other quick things about SPLOST 2. It is expected to generate close to $600 million. And we're on target to, we get about, we've got 100 and some odd million dollars in receipts after the first 15 or 16 months of SPLOST 2. Next March will be the second full year of collections. So we're on target to hit that $600 million. So the two SPLOST programs for capital improvements after 12 years will put $1 billion back into the county. Unincorporated DeKalb. The cities, Stone Mountain, everybody else, by law, get their checks directly based on population. And then if you add in SPLOST and your e-host, if you're a property owner, we're tied together at the polls. So I think all total, future years, that'll be about $2 to $3 billion of capital improvements, and the other half went to property tax relief. And then real quickly, SPLOST 1 was predicated on a Georgia State study. They asked voters what was the most important thing they thought they needed in the county. And the three top were transportation, road resurfacing, public safety, and parks. So 40% of SPLOST 1 went to resurfacing roads. The last SPLOST 1 contract is active, so we'll hit 350 miles of resurfacing. The county has about just shy of 1,000 miles of roads. Prior to SPLOST, the state gives the county money every year from your gas tax based on lane miles of road and population. So every year DeKalb County would get about $4 million from the state of Georgia. They would match that. So they'd put a contract out in the street for $10 million, which would get somewhere between 10, 15, 20 miles of roads. So SPLOST has allowed us to just exponentially increase the backlog of roads that haven't been repaid, perhaps since they were built 20, 30, 40 years ago. So 40% plus or minus goes to the resurfacing program. The next biggest tranche goes to public safety, new fire stations, new police cars, improvements to existing buildings. We've got a lot of old buildings, a new roof, a new elevator, a new HVAC system is a capital expense. You own a home, y'all been talking about, nothing lasts forever, right? So on a major commercial building, 10, 15, 20 years, you've got to start to replace all those systems. And then the last two items are for building parks and recreation. And then we had a little bit of money in SPLOST 1, which was unique. Every other county in Georgia, the General Assembly, when they authorized the citizens to vote on SPLOST, trusted the commissioners to pick the right projects. For a variety of reasons, the first SPLOST program in DeKalb County, the General Assembly said, you can have a penny. You can have a penny unrestricted for transportation, resurfacing. You can have the penny unrestricted for public safety. You could build new fire stations. That's all you could do. Your parks programs and your other buildings, the courthouse, the libraries, the senior centers, that penny could only go for those major repairs. We couldn't build new facilities. SPLOST 1 was managed, we think, pretty effectively, and the voters, I think, agreed by about the same 70-some-odd percent said, we'd like to continue SPLOST 2. General Assembly said, yeah, we trust you guys now. So SPLOST 2 lets us build new buildings in those parks and parks category especially. So while it's not in District 4, the southern tier of the county will get two major new recreation centers. A new Lucius Sanders Center in Lithonia is going out to bid. It's about a $15 million project to replace the old gym left over from the Bruce Street School. And then a $19 million project will go in the far southwest corner, Ellenwood. It's called the Multi-Generational Center. So it'll be a combination senior center and rec center. And that's really important because SPLOST 2 lets us build those new buildings. And that's kind of a highlight of where we're at. You got a few minutes for questions?
Thank you very much.
Is the MC with the microphone?
We got hands. We got hands.
Hi, I'm a resident in this county, in DeKalb, in this county, not too far down the street. But my question is about the people who SPLOST 1, you said, is resurfacing of roads, correct? So Splosh 1 down behind Stevenson High School, they just keep patching it. It keeps getting broke. They don't resurface the whole road, and they said, you got to call Action 2. Our people said, we got to just do this, put this little, and they don't tell them I told you this.
That's a great question. So the county, the Roads and Drainage Division, all the counties do it, state does it. Everybody follows a pretty uniform procedure for evaluating roads. Unfortunately, you can't do every road and at $1 million plus or minus a mile. So what the county does is every road every year is rated on a scale of 0 to 62. A 0 is a perfect road. 62, it's in really bad shape. We draw the line at 30 and above. So with 1,000 miles of road, Splosh 1 took the worst 300, and we got those resurfaced. Got 50 bonus miles because of inflation. Splosh 2 was started with the next 200 miles of the worst roads. So unfortunately, there's a lot of roads that don't look great, but there's a lot more roads you might be familiar with that look worse. And the patching and the potholes, that's a maintenance item, so that comes out of the annual budget, and that's sort of like a Band-Aid, and sometimes you have to keep running out and fixing it until they can get to the higher score that we come in and resurface it. So we can't do every road that's needed every year, but it goes through a cycle. Good question.
Mr. Kingsbury, you may have said this when you were providing your presentation. Because we're only second splosh in, we were so behind, and I don't know if you talked about this, but
that's a perfect question.
We were so behind where other counties have had splosh for decades. It's going to take us some time to get these roads that need repaving. Y'all know, I get the phone calls, I get the emails. And if you have a road that you're concerned about, please reach out to us. Please reach out to us. And I'll let you know what the rating is. 90% of the time, it's not going to be a high rating. It's not going to be that 60. I don't even think I've come across a rating of a 60 when folks have called me. It's usually 30 and below. And when I have to tell our beloved constituents that it's a 30, doesn't really help, because the 30 doesn't help us know, is it going to go on the next list for repaving sooner rather than later. So we've been behind for so long, for years.
That 500-mile target for the two splosh together, that's over a 12-year period. So that's half the roads in the county.
Okay, good morning. So I have a two-part question. So you were talking about Splosh 1 and Splosh 2 and how Splosh 1, again, was all about the roads and buildings. Is there somewhere where we can see how the funds are allocated in the different parts? Yeah, great
question, and I didn't bring the...
Sorry.
Second part?
The different parts of the county, because that's very important as far as, like, when we're trying to fix roads, because it's all about perceptions a lot of times. So if more of the funds are being allocated towards northern DeKalb, where the roads aren't perceived as bad as opposed to this side, then that just continues to perpetuate the problem that this side of the county isn't being taken care of. And then the second question...
Alicia can point you in the right direction if you get confused. If you go to the DeKalb County's homepage, DeKalb County, in the far right-hand corner, the top of the homepage, is a penny. Mm-hmm. Click on the penny, and you'll get instructions. It's from drop-down menus, and a map will pop up. Your splosh dollars only go to unincorporated DeKalb. So you'll see every road we've resurfaced, every road that's under an active contract, and every road that's proposed. In the ones that are out for bid now. We have one contract out for bid and two more being prepared. So it's a great question. We used to have it in red and green, so it looked like Christmas. Green was finished, red was... The counties have been updating their GIS system, and they changed the color hues a little bit. But it's all there. And also the background information of the major projects and categories for both SPOS programs.
Mr. Kingsbury, to this same question, would you talk a little bit about the distinction between how unincorporated in terms of the road repaving versus the cities? Because on the north side, we have a lot more cities within.
Right. Every city does their own program, so we don't touch anything inside of a municipal boundary. The only exception to that in the SPLOST program, we can provide that to the commissioner, is there are county-wide facilities that everybody pays the penny and receives the services. And it's primarily the libraries and the fire stations. Probably half the county's fire stations are inside of a city, and maybe a third of the libraries are in a city.
Yes, good morning. Alicia alluded to the fact that the cities are repairing their roads much quicker than us because of the fact that on the splash, they are somewhat double dipping. They get money from the city, and then they get money from the splash. As far as the county, the unincorporated county only get the splash money. But this is my question. In 2016, we proposed splash for repairing roads. This is 2025.
That's a great question. So
we're in Splash 2.
Correct.
And all the splash money has not been spent on the roads. So, and South DeKalb, we always get the crumbs. And we are tired.
I'll provide some
Let me
more
finish,
information.
sir. Let me finish. We are tired of getting the crumbs. We want to be just like those folks up there in Brookhaven, Dunwoody, and some of the folks in Tucker. You know what I'm saying? So you all need to step it up. Whether it's the commissioner, the CEO, or somebody, they need to step it up to make our community look profitable and appealing. And it's not happening. I've been in this county for 40 years. I'm tired. So, so we need something done.
So a big point that you made, those communities, every one of those communities you listed is a city. So they have their own SPLOST dollars that they get, but they also have their general fund and they have their LMIG money. We have SPLOST dollars, we have LMIG, we have general fund money. They have a lot less to take care of within their city boundaries than what we have in our county. So it may look like, yeah, it's all going up north, but it's not the county dollars. Those are their city dollars going in Brookhaven, Dunwoody, Doraville. Those are cities. We're not paying for that. Those city residents are paying for that. So the problem we have in DeKalb County, in the unincorporated area, we have such a larger area to take care of. We're so far behind in taking care of that. If it weren't for SPLOST, where would we be? We'd be so far behind. So without SPLOST, we will never catch up. But you really can't compare unincorporated South DeKalb to cities in North DeKalb because they are managing their own, where the county is managing ours. They have much smaller areas to take care of, so their dollars can appear to go further than what we can do in all of DeKalb County.
And Commissioner, cities technically are collecting more from their residents because of the additional tax they pay because they're a city, right?
They could be, and those areas where perimeter mall is, they're getting a proportional amount based off of their population, but so they're collecting money based off of their property and the residents. It's supposed to be proportional, right? So what we got in the city of Stone Mountain was proportional to our resident area, but we got a little bit more because we were so small that we knew we could never catch up. The larger cities aren't getting that little bit of a bump, which I think was like $1 million extra. So the effort and the intent was to make it proportional. I just think the problem is how far behind the county has been and how long it's going to take us to catch up.
A slight technical question, since you're here. Can I download GIS layers of those of the SPLOST work, and how often are they updated?
We update it weekly, and I send Alicia a note. There is a way to download it. You have to go through like a request process. No more question here with the blue baseball cap.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Thanks.
I have a question pertaining to the splash fund and the recreation. We had, you referred to Wade Walker Park. Hurricane Helene destroyed the spillway on the park, and the park is like a forest now, taking over. Can that fund used to restore the lake? Because my kids grew up around the lake. We used to walk around there, go fishing and stuff. There's no lake. What can be done about that?
Wade Walker, is he? We'll look into that. There is a separate bucket for, unfortunately, the lakes fall under, even though if they're in a park, they're often a regional stormwater facility. So if there's a problem with the spillway and the dam, we'll get with Public Works and look at it. It could be Lake Michelle, commissioners reminded me. Yeah. Right, so that's, unfortunately, the dam itself is private. The lake is private. Yeah. Alicia, we can provide more detail.
That was brought to my attention, and I contacted a number of the state agencies to see if there's any money available, and did get an answer from the Corps of Engineers. They said that there was some money that was available that apparently nobody had applied for, and I did connect with the county to say we need to get this money before the new session, or before the president is voted in. Apparently it did work out. I did see that they are going to be repairing about 12 dams. Unfortunately, in order to access that money, there's a category system, and Lake Michelle did not fall within that category. So they're going to get about $27 million to repair about 12 dams. It's just that we're going to have to go back to the drawing board to see if we can find money for like lakes, private lakes, because they don't fall within that category. I'm sorry. But we're still working on it.
All right.
My understanding is the lake is owned by the county.
No, it's not. It's privately owned.
It's privately owned.
So where is the owner for this property? Where is he
We
standing
could have this entire meeting on this issue, sir, because it's very complicated, but they are working on it. We're aware of it, and Representative Davis has been knee-deep in it. She's really been working on it. So I think maybe we can try and get some communication offline, because it is, we really could go the rest of the afternoon on that one.
Yeah, just reach out to me. No.
Thank you, Mr. Kingsbury.
I'm going to Biffle Park next, which is not in District 4.
It's close.
But right around the corner, Hidden Hills, and we're doing a little ribbon cutting. Splosh put new playground equipment in Biffle Park. So if you're looking for something to do at 11 o'clock, come around the corner.
Thank you, Mr. Kingsbury.
Thank you, Mr. Kingsbury.
Commissioner Alicia, how to get a hold of me.
Yes, and thank you again. So he's actually one of our consultants who just happened to be here today, and I put him on the spot, but he always knows all his SPLOS information. I think most of us come for the free breakfast. We know if we want to get y'all out early on a Saturday morning, we got to feed you, right?
Seriously, got questions, follow up with Alicia and the commissioner.
Yes.
My office is in the Maloof building, so anyone can find me.
Yes, he's in the Maloof building. We will get him it. Send us emails and we'll forward it and get answers as well. So I did want to acknowledge we do have a candidate in the room. I'll acknowledge Mr. Richard Wright, who's running for Lieutenant Governor. He's back there politicking and talking, so when you guys, before you leave, make sure you have a chance to talk to him.
Wave your hand.
Just acknowledging you, sir. He's running for Lieutenant Governor, so if you get an opportunity, please talk to him as well. So now we're here for department head updates. Next, okay. So we do have with us Captain Rory. Do you have an update for us from the police department, sir?
I do.
Okay. You can go either way.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? As mentioned again, my name is Captain Rory. I'm the Assistant Precinct Commander at East Precinct, which falls into the 4th District. Been there since March. Been with the county for almost 28 years. And I've been happy to serve the county all my years I've been there. Thank you. One positive note that I want to report is that within the East Precinct, from this time last year, from 2024 to the year to date now, property crime is down 24%. And that includes your burglaries, car thefts, entering autos, even though we still have to work harder to get it down even more. But we're doing a good job. I want to say, Madam CEO and Interim Chief Pedrick, they're doing a good job getting us more officers. One of our, I ain't gonna say excuses, but the reason we had delayed response time and is because the lack of officers. But I can honestly say, especially over the past 6 months, we've got a lot of new officers, and especially a lot of new lateral officers, which are officers who's already certified, and they come from other agencies and other states come here, and they have been a real big help in boosting our manpower. And we have like 3 academies going on now, and they're going to be doing a big recruitment initiative starting in 2026. So hopefully we can get those numbers down lower than what they are now. And that's all I have right now. But like I said, we're doing our best. And I know a lot of people, you have the issues with the street racers. So I could brag about this because I started an initiative like 5 months ago to deal with the street racers. We have made over like 30 plus arrests, impounded over 50 cars, wrote over 300 citations over the past 5 months with that. And they still come and go. And like it's not really a DeKalb County problem, it's a Metro Atlanta problem because we have to work with the City of Atlanta, Gwinnett County also. So we coordinate together to try to help each other, deal with that type of crime. Yes.
Get my steps in.
Good morning, Captain Murray. There was speculation, or there was talk, that there was going to be a precinct somewhere on or near Redan. Can you confirm or deny if that is true or not? And then the second question is, there is still a lot of gang activity at the gas stations up and down Redan. Can you discuss with us any efforts that you all have in combating that? Like, there has been a reduction at some of the gas stations, but they are still very prevalent there. Thank you.
Yes, in reference to the precinct rumors, I have not heard of that. I can't confirm or deny. That's above my status as a precinct captain. So I can't, confirm or deny any of those things. I haven't heard anything about that. In reference to the gang activity or the loitering around these gas stations and service stations, the county has put in a new loitering ordinance, whereas we don't need permission from store owners to criminal trespass people anymore. The owners could sign an agreement where once they sign the agreement, we can come and arrest people for loitering without, the owner's permission, as long as they agree with it. And it takes them out, it takes them out of, if they want to be seen like, I'm telling the police for you to go. Once they sign the agreement, if we come catch people loitering, we can arrest them and take them to jail. And this initiative started about within the past month, and more businesses have to sign up. So once they sign up, we have a list that we go by. So if officers go by and see people loitering, if that business is on the list, we can go and enforce action without the owners. We already got permission from the owner, so at that time we can go do what we got to do. We don't have to get permission from the owner, because if they loitering and the owners don't give them a warning or don't say, yeah, I want them locked up, there's really nothing we can really do without the owner's approval. But now with this new loitering programming, we can go and be more forceful there, because I know I've seen videos and people here, you go to the gas station, especially up and down Covenant Highway and Redan, people just hanging out there, especially young adults. They just hanging out there doing nothing. So now we can tell them, if you ain't got nothing to do, you can't do it here now.
That's significant. That's huge. And this is where we as One DeKalb come into play. So if you frequent these businesses and you're going in and you know that it's a place where there are folks kind of hang out, just ask the business owners, are you aware, manager, are you aware that there's a loitering program and you can sign up for it with DeKalb County? I know that the communications specialist for the PDK is actually going out, meeting with business owners to let them know about the program, but that's going to take some time because you've got one per precinct. Is that right? The specialist?
Yeah, we have one per precinct, but the unit that's basically been given the initiative to go around all the business out, community policing unit. So they service the whole county. So they're going out. That's their primary job now is to go out. Lieutenant White's head of that. So he goes out, keeps a database and a spreadsheet of everybody who's in the program.
Very good. And in terms of you said a precinct on Redan? Commissioner just met with interim police chief Pedrick on Thursday, and that didn't come up, but we're happy to look into it. Okay, who had their hand up?
I did. Good morning. I want to ask the question directly to the Redan area. You're saying that if the owner is on the list, and if someone is out there just doing whatever, you can contact the owner. My question, though, is pertaining to the owner. How is the county holding owners accountable for what is going on in their property? As we all know, in the Redan area where the BP station is, that has been going on for multiple years. You all have put satellites over at the Walgreens. You have had, I guess, what they call tag readers. Nothing has worked. The business apparently is a part of the root problem. So I want to know, what is the county going to do to hold the owners accountable for what is going on? Because it's their business.
Well, with the new program, with the loitering program, that's going to be a big help. And most of the owners are afraid of retaliation. And now with this program, they can sign up, and they don't even have to come outside and say yay or nay. We can just automatically enact. We're doing our best. I know that area. We have been having problems there I've been here 28 years, and I can tell you it's been a problem. But we're working hard and just to narrow it down. Is like I said, as time goes by, you will see it decrease. I guarantee you.
I'd like to know what is being done with the loiterers. What they're standing out there doing whatever they're doing, and obviously they have nothing to do. If you arrest them or something needs to be done with them to give them inspiration to do something that's legal.
Yes.
Instead of having them go from gas station to gas station doing whatever they're doing.
Once again, with the new program, like we give them one warning. After we give them one warning, we take them to jail for loitering. And like I said, this program just started like this past month, over the last 30 days. So just give it time. As more businesses get on, you're going to see it less and less. It's got to give us some time to enforce it and get the business owners on board. And as time goes on, should see a big improvement in the loitering in the area.
So the court system does have diversion programs, so that would be probably more on their side and not the police side on how they can help. So the part of their job is to deter them, get them away from the area, or arrest them. But once they're in the system, it's really the judges and the court system that would have those diversion programs that would be of help.
Yes, good morning. I would like to know the rate of participation of the businesses that were required by law and ordinance to have cameras set up that have a live feed to the police department. What's the participation rate at this point?
I cannot give you a definite number, but I know within our precinct zones, there are a lot of businesses getting on board with us monitoring their own camera system, and also with the real-time crime center that's coming up in the FUSIS program, a lot of businesses is getting involved. If those of you know what the FUSIS program is, a program that businesses and homeowners can join, in which you share your feed of your Ring camera, your outside cameras with the county, where we can see live feed from your residents, and it's with your permission. And that's when a real life crime center gets up and running. All of that will be incorporated into that, where we can, if we get a call in a certain area, we can see live feed like that. And I know now most of the businesses, most of the racetracks are on board. I know they had a meeting not too long ago with Quick Trip to get them on board so we can see their cameras. And a lot of business, slowly but surely, everybody's getting involved. And when the Real-Time Crime Center gets up and running, I could foresee a lot of other businesses participating in the Futures program that will help us see a lot of things and solve a lot of crime.
Good morning. I would like to know, what is the law and the enforcement of driving under the influence of marijuana? The city is becoming so stinky, and for many of us, the county throughout, and from the state down, I'm just waiting to see 5 years from now or even more, how is it impacting our health? It's hard for me to drive down Memorial Drive and other places here in the county without having some allergy attack from the stinky marijuana. And I'm wondering, what are we doing about it? Because I know we all are smelling it. So how do we enforce that law, or how are we enforcing the law?
All right, I understand your concern with that. We enforce that like we enforce any other laws with DUI and everything. If officers see people under influence, we can test them. But just going and being suspicion of people, who's smoking it, that's something like we can't just like honestly do. Like we see somebody, if somebody's obviously under the car, like I've been at red lights when I'm in my POV, not in police unit, because of course they see the police, they're gonna, camouflage it. But I've been at red lights where the person next to you openly smoking it, but that's because I'm in but with police cars, they won't do it like that and openly. At least I don't patrol the streets like that because I'm a captain. But from what I see, just driving throughout the county, that's just something that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. Like, I don't think we could actually do an initiative just to target cars that got marijuana smells.
Well, let me actually continue with this. As I said, make this at a state level, because it's becoming a health issue, too. So how does the state, perhaps, Representative Davis, is anyone really looking at this as an environmental health issue? I think as part of the question, too. As an environmental? Yes, health-wise.
Would really tell you the truth, right now, marijuana is actually being used as a form of medicine. And they are saying basically, right, this summer, they doing a study committee on that very issue of marijuana. Now, one thing we have to take into account is, do you want a lot of these people who are smoking weed? I bet back, I'm telling my age, chicken chong and all that. Back in the day, it was just a thing to do. But do we want those to pile up in the jails? And think now, they are doing laws where they say you get charged once, you won't be able to access any government funding. You won't be able to go to, school. They are trying to do a number of things that would isolate people, just having one charge. So we want to be careful. And then when you want to use it as medicine, but yet send people to jail, one of the things that the county want to do is be able to decrease the number of people going to jail by giving tickets. Give them a ticket and then have it do it that way. We're trying to do a balance. You don't want to overcrowd the jails with people who are smoking weed. That's my person. But as far as environmental, no, they're not counted as environmental.
And I don't want to stay here too long, but I'm asking this question because, I'm not going to tell my age either. But what I'm smelling out there is something being created in a lab. And there's chemicals in this stuff. And it's not just marijuana. And that's what I'm talking about if we're going to get real about it. I understand medicine as a veteran. I'm an Army veteran, so I get that. But everyone who's polluting the air does not or may not have medical marijuana. And that's what I'm talking about.
All right. Got one last question back here for Captain Rory, and we're going to move on to our remaining DeKalb County representatives that are here.
Good morning. Good morning. I was a little late, but I wanted to ask, because we're having here in the city of Stonecrest a problem with the unhoused. Now, I want to applaud you all with the loitering program. I'm on board with that totally. But does it apply to the unhoused? And do you all have teams that actually will address or go and, see about the unhoused when it comes to this loitering program?
Okay. Do we hear you say that? Do you live in the city of Stonecrest?
She's a councilwoman from city of Stonecrest. I was going to recognize her.
Very good. You want to go ahead and do that?
Yes, that's Councilwoman Washington from city of Stonecrest. Thank you for being here.
Yes, so we have a unit called our Community Policing Unit. They're in charge of dealing with the unhoused. They have several programs, and they work with several organizations, nonprofit organizations, to help the unhoused. I'm not really versed in all the programs that they do and what it incorporates, but I know that from going to various meetings, they do work with the unhoused. We document the unhoused. They work to try to get them housing, get them training, and get them job placement. So being I'm not over that unit, I can't tell you exactly what they have done, but I know there's a unit specifically for the unhoused and some of the programs they're working with nonprofits to help deal with the problem.
Camp.
To be a part of your program, can you deal with the unhoused in these businesses? This is what I'm asking.
So is there a distinction between if somebody's loitering, whether because you don't know if they're unhoused until you actually get with them, right? So for you all, does it matter whether they're unhoused?
Like standing in my position where I'm at now, I could think of if I was an officer, everything probably be a case-by-case basis, whether it be a young person or unhoused persons. How we deal with them probably be based on their situation at the time. So I can't sit here and say this is what we would do or that's what they're doing. I can't honestly say that, but I know based on a case-by-case basis, we would deal with the situation based on the facts and circumstances at that time.
Captain Rory, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here this morning, and especially for your 28 years of service to DeKalb County. We appreciate you and thank you. So this is a great segue because the question came regarding the unhoused, and we actually do have a subject matter expert in the house with us today, Tommy Phillips. You ready? You ready to take this on?
Someone else I put on the spot. Good morning, Tommy.
And, he's going to tell you what the county's approach is.
No.
Don't put words in your mouth.
We don't have 2 hours. I just came because I came to represent my commissioners, both Commissioner Johnson and Commissioner Terry, because I live in the district. So I'm not working today. But let me explain something to you.
We are one DeKalb.
Councilman, we were in Stonecrest with you at your stand-down last week. So our guys, which we don't have enough, homelessness is a big problem in DeKalb County, as you all know. We're currently facing a lot of issues that, this shutdown, if you're aware of that. We're getting more calls than we ever gotten before. We're getting calls from people who are facing eviction. We get calls from people who are homeless. And yeah, we have unhoused, and every time you drive down the street, you know that. I don't have enough guys to cover 270 square miles. DeKalb County is 270 square miles. So I have currently right now 2 guys on staff trying to get more, and when you say loitering, that doesn't even register because we don't look at that because we're too busy trying to chase the current homeless people we have in DeKalb County. So you're talking about DeKalb County, unincorporated DeKalb County, and citizens of the incorporated areas, of all the cities we have in DeKalb County. We cover the cities, and we cover the unincorporated area currently right now. We're trying to expand that. Commissioner Terry knows we're trying to expand that. So we're trying to get quickly before the end of the year to 4 full-time people just doing the unhoused work. I retired about 7 years ago after I got off the Planning Commission because y'all worked me to death. And I was supposed to do this for 2 years.
So that's been 7 years. So homelessness is not something that happens and you can finish it overnight. We have issues around shelter, where we're going to place them. So we tried to move everybody who was loitering off the streets, put them in a shelter. We didn't have enough shelter. We don't have enough shelter space. As you're well aware, winter is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is here. Because last couple of nights ago, people already started running to shelters because they're living on the streets, living in parks. We just don't have enough space to put the people who are in DeKalb County and house them. That's not talking about the housing affordability issue. That's another good discussion in itself. We're just talking about people on the street who need to be housed. The administration, thanks to the commissioners, are going to try to work on a problem to address homelessness within the next few weeks to try to add more space and more facilities that we can house individuals. And no promises, but we'll see what happens and see where it goes. But we are aware that in your community, in South DeKalb, we know we got a problem. A lot of the service stations and a lot of the bus stops and a lot of the areas where homeless people reside, we know that's where they are, but we have to figure out where we're going to place those individuals. And we're in the process of trying to work through that. You'll start seeing some announcements pretty soon. Questions? Yes.
Yes, sir. Good morning to you. You know, the county needs to collaborate with the school system. Now,
With school system?
Yes. What I hear is that the school system population of students is declining. We're in the process of redistricting the school system, which means that some of the schools are going to be closed.
Correct.
So you can use the schools, retrofit the schools for housing for the homeless. There's all kind of ways we can do it, but there has to be some type of collaboration with the county and the school where there's need for the homeless, where we as two entities can get together and probably formulate something that will benefit the homeless people. And I think the schools, once the schools close, what are they going to do? They're going to tear it down, they're going to demolish it, so they can use that as centers or as housing for homeless.
That's above my pay grade. But let me just say, you had a discussion a few minutes ago about Splosh. As far as homelessness in DeKalb County, the majority of the funds from DeKalb County came from HUD. Urban, that's U.S. Department of HUD, which is now closed with no employees available to make a phone call to. Just so you understand, the funds that we have available to us to address homelessness in DeKalb County comes from HUD. That's not coming from a budget where we can even address the things you're talking about. We're just simply trying to get to a point where we can fund and finance the problem that we have for homelessness in DeKalb County for the volume of people we have. Can't do that with the funds that we have alone. Thanks to Commissioner Johnson, she just gave me $80,000, which I still don't have.
Wow.
So, not to put you on the spot, but
too late.
Even when she gives me the $80,000, I can easily make that disappear by people who just need hotel space. I can easily make that disappear by just hiring an outreach person. I make it disappear. So $80,000 is dropping a bucket. So in order for us to address the homeless problem in DeKalb County, and this is Tommy Phillips talking, it ain't the county talking, it's me. We need millions of dollars to address our problem. We don't have the money to address the people who need housing, the unhoused on the street. Every city in DeKalb County, they don't want homeless people on our street. It messes up tourism. It messes up your neighborhood when you got homeless people propped up next to your house with cots and tents. We need to figure out something. I understand what you're saying, but we don't have enough funds right now to address that. And even if we did, we would have to have taxation of some sort or some way the money comes from administration to be able to do that. Our department, community development, let me just say this. If you have homeless people you find call 404-687-3500. That gets to us. 404-687-3500. If you see homeless families on the street, call that number. If you have people who are facing eviction, we currently have a program now that's $7.8 million for assistance. $7.8 million is not enough, but it's there. And we have a number of people reaching out for that assistance. So if you need assistance, we had a tree program. Y'all probably heard about that. We had a tree program where we removed trees for senior citizens out of community development. Thanks to Commissioner Terry, the tree program is closed now. So I'm not saying call for a tree program. The demand, I'm saying the demand was much higher than the funds were allowed it, unless Commissioner Terry wants to put some more money in the pot.
Don't want to put you on the spot.
No, again, it's one of these situations where we never have enough funds for the demand that we have. We have a special purpose home repair program. That program is still available from community development if you're looking for assistance. If you're looking for assistance for electrical, roofing, and you're a senior citizen, you can call community development for that assistance. And that number is 404-371-2727 for special purpose home repair. Yes.
Does that exclude people who own condos?
Yes, it does. It excludes condominiums. All right.
One more question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Mr. Phillips, I want to thank you for your dedication in working with the unhoused. I, too, have done a lot of work in working with the unhoused, both on the state and the federal level. For the federal employee right now. But I wanted to say that, as you were saying, it's more than a county problem. It's more than a city problem. It's more than a state problem. It is something that we have to work collectively as a whole to improve, because what people don't understand is there are several levels to homelessness. It's not just the people that you see on the street. It's the people that are living in hotels. It's the people that are living in their cars. It's the people that are continuing to get locked up so that they have a place to stay and get access to care. So when we're throwing these terms out, we have to be a little bit more considerate and look at the bigger picture as opposed to the inconvenience. I'm done. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
I live over in the Clarkston area, and recently there's been a next door neighborhood thread, and we've been trying to identify different areas where food could be resourced, food could be distributed, housing, and et cetera. And we are just all like shooting in the dark. Is there any kind of listing or resource that we would be able to direct some of these people to? Because we're just saying, oh, well, go check over at Refuge Coffee. There might be something up over there. Oh, I think Clarkston Baptist Church had a sign out for a food pantry or whatever. Is there some kind of like consistent listing that maybe if it's not developed, we could develop it, especially
It's already developed. The Community Food Bank has an application to do that, and I'll give you my number. And I can get you to the food bank so you can get the application.
I'd like to post it on that post.
Yeah, it's an online application.
I think it would be good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go Falcon.
Okay. We'll make sure we get those numbers again.
Can you give the number again 2 more times?
For which one? Oh, unhoused. 404-687-3500.
687.
So next we do have Ms. Deborah here from Human Services. She's also going to speak with us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deborah Furtado. It's good to see my old boss, Isaac Waters. It's been a long time. And Imogene in the back. Deborah Furtado, Human Services, representing our director, Damon Scott. And a couple things we're doing in Human Services. Our role in the county is to provide really improved quality of life from birth till end of life. So our biggest division that we have is senior services. And what's going on in senior services and aging services, we call it now, is we have a lot we're applying now for the ARC's funding. So, Commissioner, that'll be coming up. It's called a NOFA, Notice of Funding Available. And that's where we get a couple $1 million for senior services, your senior centers and all the food and in-home care. We also have something that's in this district that will be starting up really more in full force probably in January, and that is the Memory Cafe. Has anyone heard of the Memory Cafe at Elam Road? It's really pretty cool. It is part of us being a dementia-friendly county, so I'm very proud of that. My mother had dementia. She passed away this year, and it's a lot of people in DeKalb, are not like my mom who was in assisted living. They're living in their homes. They're isolated, and this Memory Cafe that we have at Elam Road we're doing it once a month, but it's going to be twice a month. So on the website for DeKalb County, going into Human Services, you can get the information. Plus, there'll be some press releases on it. But we meet, and we have social workers that are there, and people come in with their caregivers, and it's a time for them to really do activities, spend time together. It's so important. So it's really important to all of us because there are more and more people in our community. Thousands. Dementia is growing probably at one of the fastest rates. I know the representative knows that, especially in Georgia and all that we're doing. So that's a really important program. Also, we have some things that are happening in the division that I manage, partnerships and grants. And one is our grants program. We give over almost 60 nonprofits are funded through our program, and that'll be presented to the commission, I believe, Tuesday through the PEX committee. And they're really the nonprofits, everything from food to youth services, aging. They are really the extension of the county. And so really proud of this program. We, of course, need more money for the program, but the grants enable the county to do more. So, for example, some of them, when you look at iCare, which provides transportation in the county, that's transportation services, so it's very important. Also, very important program that I hope some of you have heard of, but we'll be talking about it more, is violence prevention. A major program. We did receive federal funding through the Department of Justice. We were able to keep our grant, unlike some others that were canceled, so that was good. We found that us and Grady were able to keep the grants, and it was really sad. They canceled a lot of nonprofits, but what violence prevention does, what we've been doing for 3 years, is we treat violence, and we partner like with the police department, we treat violence as a disease. So we've been able to identify hotspot areas in DeKalb, and there are some in District 4. So I was listening to people talking, and we're doing a lot. And right now we're in the planning phase, but something else exciting that the commissioners, like Commissioner Johnson, all put money into a program. Money has to be spent by the end of the year, but it's for youth violence prevention. And we'll have some programs that are ongoing, exciting things. Next Saturday, we have a youth summit, which will be at Georgia State. We'll be there talking about leadership development as well as violence prevention, and have different nonprofit leaders talking about that, as well as the youth, which will really be involved. And then I think, Commissioner, we have Girls Clubhouse and Rise Up, two wonderful programs. Rise Up was a program that President Obama got started years ago through, I think it was My Brother's Keeper. Yeah, and so this program's been ongoing in DeKalb. So that is programs that will be going. Plus, we also have a nonprofit we partner with in the violence prevention called Hope Hustlers, if you've heard of them. They're a crime prevention organization. So when I listen to people talking, the police cannot do it all. This program is about going in, treating it as a disease, being proactive, doing some canvassing in areas, and also we'll have 2 events this year, and we'll be announcing those events. You'll see flyers for that too. And something else around the homeless. Tommy, community development does a lot. That's their role, really, to do that. And I hate this shutdown, but I also hate the fact that, I am working, so healthcare costs should not go up either. So it's really difficult, and I I empathize and I feel for you, and I admire people that work, because we all work for the government, right? Even though we're at the local level. So programs that we are doing are really reaching everyone. So this program, though, November 1st at Georgia State, we'll have flyers on that. Plus, the other one is an organization called Flowing with Blessings, and they provide mobile showers and laundry services for the unhoused. November 8th, they'll be at my church. I live in the city of Decatur, at Decatur First United Methodist, and we let everyone know, and it's really a cool setup, actually. They have, it's amazing what they do, but we also provide the county is involved, and we have services out there, food, clothing, haircuts. It's amazing how people really need haircuts. The barber is very popular. And then people line up, and it's very organized, and they get their showers and they get their laundry services. So those are two big events coming up, both at the youth event starts, I believe it's at 12, either 11 or 12, and then the other event starts at 9 o'clock at Decatur First. So look to the website. Also, we'll make sure you have the flyers so they can go out to y'all too. Any questions? County's website. So you can go to the county's website and look at, and under Human Services, you'll see information about us. Plus, I will make sure the commissioner has the flyers. I sent them out to some other commissioners. We'll just send them out to everyone, because for the youth summit, just got to scan that QR code and register, and there's no cost to it. So that's what's really good for youth, and we want parents to come too to the event. November 8th, absolutely no. There's a flyer for that too. I just got it. So that is obviously great. And if you want to volunteer, you can volunteer too if you want to come. Or you just want to come out and see this operation, which is amazing. So thank you for that. And also, I brought some information too on Human Services, some flyers if you want to pick one of those up too. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
You said if we wanted to volunteer, do we just go online and sign up that way?
I'll tell you what you can do is I have my card, so you can email me. Once you come and see me, I'll make sure you get my card and flyers for Human Services, because that would just be easier just to let me know. You can do it that way too. Partnerships does have an email. I have to make sure I check that email, but you can do that. Deborah Furtado, though, I'm the only Furtado in the county, right? But I'll give you my email address, all right?
Okay, awesome.
Thanks, Deborah.
But thank you for that.
So this is for the brain, you know what I'm trying to say?
Anyway, what was your question?
I'm sorry, I had to do that. This is for the homeless,
Yes.
the unhoused.
Unhoused,
and
yes.
they just need to get there.
Yeah, it's
so we can spread that information to the other chapters.
You can spread it out to everyone. As long as the nice thing about Decatur is you can take MARTA to get to Decatur, so it's easy, and they just walk across the street to get to the church. Yeah.
United First.
Actually, Decatur First United Methodist. So it's the Methodists.
Okay,
I told someone one day I was a Methodist. He was a Baptist and said that I was forgiven. It was kind of funny, but I'm a former Catholic, so that tells you something. So.
All right. We good?
For the showers, that'll be 9 o'clock. I believe it's 9 o'clock till 1:30. And it's so organized. You know, the Methodists, it's very organized. I'll be there. But they actually, so the nice thing about the church is this is like the church has been doing this for 3 or 4 times. They run this, and the people come in, they sign up, and they call their names, and they call their names for laundry. It's very professional. It's very compassionate. And something else, you reminded me of something that's important that we're doing with violence prevention, because y'all were talking, we say the police department cannot do it all. They need these partnerships, because I'm not a social worker, but I've learned they're invaluable. And social workers work, especially with the youth, we're working on providing, what is the case and wraparound services. That's really critical, and that's what happens at this event. So, all right.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. And she's going to hang around. She's got flyers.
Thank you, Deborah. And I wanted to go back real quick on the funding for community development, the $80,000. So this year, Commissioner Terry and the rest of us, we did a mid-year budget exercise, and I asked for $250,000 to go to community development, and it was whittled down to $80,000. But one of the reasons I wanted to point that out is This is one of the first times that this department has gotten funding from our general fund. Their funding is all federal dollars. So I'll try again next year to get them more money out of the general fund. And this is a great example as to why, if something's happening on the federal level and there's that shutdown and monies can't get to them, it's such an important service that we need to be funding these services out of the general fund. And then when we do fund it out of the general fund, we can provide those wraparound services because those federal dollars are so restricted that they can't do everything we think they should be doing with those monies, but they just can't. So if it's coming out of the general fund, they can provide those more wraparound services to make sure not only are we getting them off the street, but they stay off the street. They're getting financial literacy, mental health, whatever it is that they need, but those wraparound services. So I wanted to point that out. I try to get y'all more, but I got you what I could get you. Thank you. And thank you to all our department heads. We do have one more person I'm putting on the spot, Mr. Dave Thomas. He is my animal appointee to the Animal Services Committee. Yep. He's just going to give us a brief update of what they're working on.
Thank you. And before you get started, I just want to say to the folks that are watching us on YouTube, if you have any questions, just go into the chat box and send us a question. Carrie Cordy's our communication specialist in the back. So if you're getting our newsletter, you're seeing our podcast, she is the brains behind all things communications for District 4.
Good morning, District 4. I wanted to thank Alicia and the Commissioner for giving me what I promised would be a brief time to talk about the advisory board. I'm a newish member for it. I've been on it maybe 6 months for sure. This year was when I got assigned. This is a brief description of what we do. It's chartered by the county, and it's 13 members that are appointed, 6 of them by the CEO and 7 that are each appointed by an individual commissioner. And Commissioner Johnson was the one who appointed me. Very happy to serve. I'm delighted she's our commissioner. I live in Stone Mountain Village, and she was our outgoing, one of our city council members. And so when she asked me to serve, I figured, well, it's not quite an obligation, but it's a responsibility if I can help her become successful at what she's doing. This is the ordinance description of what we do. It's basically 2 things. One of them is that we're an advisory or maybe a supervisory board for the animal services and the animal facilities that are provided here in DeKalb County. And that's primarily 2 things. One of them is the shelter, which you may have had an interaction with, and the other one is animal control. And the shelter is actually run by Lifeline. The county contracts with Lifeline to run the shelter for us. So if you talk to any of the Lifeline people here, they may have a direct affiliation with the shelter. Certainly the organization does. And the other thing that we do is we're supposed to act as a liaison among the various interest groups for animal welfare, the government, and individuals. So that's part of my reason for being here. There's 4 messages I want to deliver, 3 or 4. One of them is just to make people aware that we exist. I don't think we're a very high-profile board, and we have a function to serve here in the county. So I want you to be aware of that and avail of us any way that you think is important. I also want to hear from you. I'm not the guy that's going to come and pick up a dead animal in the street. You just call Animal Services directly for something like that. But I do want to hear about your experiences with Animal Services in the county, because that's part of my job to figure out how we can do that better. So that's email I have set up that will go directly to me, and that is my cell phone number right there. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll change my cell phone number. Who knows? So it should be relatively easy to remember. You can write it down, but it's DeKalb County Animal Advisory Board 04, because that's what I am, District 4. And in particular, I want to encourage people, if you have had a good experience dealing with animal services, please let me know. The reason I I phrase it like that is because when people are frustrated or angry, they have no problem making a complaint. They don't need any motivation. But we don't hear about the good stuff as much. And we need to hear about that just as much because we want to maintain the good experiences. So we need to know what they are. Other thing I want to do is offer myself. Being this liaison means outreach in a big part. So if you have organizations, community organizations, neighborhood associations, church groups, whatever that you want to put me in front of to talk about what the animal services are, how we deal with them, that's how you do it. Just contact me and we'll arrange something so I can show up. And the final thing I want to do is I want to enlist all of you in solving the animal problems here in the county. We have too many animals that don't have a home. Cats, dogs, rabbits, whatever. And it's not, the shelter is way overcrowded now with animals. And we're even in the process of bringing on new capacity, and that's not going to solve the problem. It's going to help. It's a good thing to have it done, but we cannot build our way out of this problem. There is a solution, and the solution is getting animals fixed. If you're a pet owner, cat, dog, whatever, please get your animal fixed. Even if you think, oh, it's okay if I have a litter of puppies because I have enough friends and family that are going to take them. That means there's another litter of animals. They're going to be turned into the shelter someplace. And specifically, the DeKalb County Animal Shelter is not a no-kill shelter. I've heard it described as a no-kill shelter by some of the citizens here. It is not a no-kill shelter, and they do not identify themselves as a no-kill shelter. So every week they have to go through a process of evaluating what's our capacity, do we have too many animals, and identifying which animals, dogs in particular, right now we're talking about, that have to be put on a list to be killed because they don't have room for them. And they're very, very good at identifying these at-risk animals and then giving them a high profile and getting them adopted, but they're not always successful. We also have a lot of cat colonies where basically cats are not part of a home, but they're being fed by somebody. Maybe it's at your house or maybe they're roving feeders. There are services that can be provided at little to no cost. In fact, if you talk to the Lifeline people, there are vouchers available that you can use to get free spay and neuter. So I encourage any for these colonies. It's if you feed them, fix them. Because if you start with 3 and you don't fix them, you're going to wind up with 30. And that's a guarantee. And it's too late to solve the problem when you have 30. So solve the problem when you have 3. I promised I would be brief, but I'm going to hang out. So if you want to talk to me about some specific stuff, I'll be happy to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Thank you very much.
So Mr. Dave Thomas and his wife Joyce in the back, they are fairly new residents to our community. They did move in, I think, within my last year on Stone Mountain City Council, and they jumped into things so fast and got involved. And they literally have cats on their car. So and they're already doing the spay and neuter and the transporting of animals. So when I had to fill this position, they were the first person I thought about, and I'm just grateful that you guys, Mr. Thomas, you especially, but I know y'all are a team, that you stepped up and are helping me in that capacity. Thank you so much. And we do have some other boards available, other vacancies for boards available, so we will be putting that information out there. I think we have one more community council to fill. We have an airport advisory. I'm working to fill the SPLOS board as well, and there might be one other one that I'm missing, but we'll get that out again in our next newsletter. So if you guys have any interest in stepping up and volunteering, I will not make every one of you come up here and do a presentation. He volunteered, so that's not a requirement, but we will do that as well.
I had a question about as far as people, I'm in an unincorporated part of the county, and some people, they have roosters. They don't know when morning or night is. I mean, it's all the time. And sometimes, no, I'm not, the reason I'm saying this is because sometimes they are doing a blood-curdling scream like they're harming that rooster, drawing blood or something. I'm not saying they are, but I've been around places that have roosters. Okay. They are not screaming like that. So what is there available to, and I see the county sitting at their property, not parked, not like lunchtime, the county, the grave parked. I don't know who he knows.
Okay.
But please, can you check? And when I called, they're like, well, how do you know? They gave me the third degree when I'm like, I'm paying tax money. And they're parking up on a regular. This is, and they don't live there. So I'm just saying, is there something that could be done? I don't know who to address that with one, but the rooster, that's a concern.
Right.
And then that the county is, something's going on down here in this area. Just have them check it out. I'm not trying to put you on.
No, but I think this needs to, if you send us an email with more detail, and then we can get in.
I'm not the email chick.
You can call.
Oh, yeah, you can call.
You can call.
It sounds like we need to get a little more
Just call
detail
me.
so we can figure
just call
out
me.
what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Good morning again.
Good morning.
Alicia, I want to talk about.
You're going to put words in my mouth again.
Look, I want to talk about the school system here in DeKalb County. Everybody in here pays school tax. 70% of your tax dollars go to school. DeKalb County School is in disarray. We've got board members that you all elected to do a job for our children. Our children is not being serviced in the way that they should as far as education is concerned. We have folks in this school system that are making money because of the friends that they know. Okay? And that has to change. Now, we're demanding that the board resign. Okay? We're also demanding that they do a study, evaluation on every person in the DeKalb County school system that is in the leadership position. Because some of those folks that are in the leadership position does not know about what they are supposed to be doing. Okay? So the parents, taxpayers, we all need to get involved. Go to the school board meeting, voice your concern, because guess what? It's your money.
Thank you, sir. All righty. Carrie, do we have any questions? Okay. All right, so we are going to get to, and you have been asking questions, and thank you. These are great questions. And again, if you had something very specific about an issue that you're having, the best way for us to wrap our heads around that is to get in touch with our office. My business cards are out front. Commissioner's magnet is out front. Email us, call me, and we'll get to you. Now, what I can't do is promise you that I'm going to be able to get back to you in 24 hours, 48 hours, because we are operating on a skeleton crew. And what that means is that, you know, we got to prioritize the issues as they come through. We are, as Tommy was saying, we are getting a lot of inquiries regarding people who are at risk of losing housing. And so that takes a lot of our effort to document that and then, of course, pass it on to the department that can help our citizens of DeKalb County. So before we begin to wrap this up with more questions and some answers, because we won't have all of them, I want to say thank you to our DC TV folks that are here, our IT folks. Can you wave your hands? And they are on the clock. They are working. This is a magnificent group of folks. They
were here early this morning getting set up, and we can't do this without them. We can't stream this meeting, record this meeting. For folks who are interested in getting updates from the commissioner and from the representatives that show up at these meetings. So I want to thank you all for all that you do for DeKalb County to help us get information out and to put a great spotlight on our commissioners. Thank you.
They make us look good every week, so we appreciate y'all.
They do. Hardworking people. I also want to thank the library staff, and I don't think Sarah is in here. She's probably out there doing library work. But I want to thank the library staff for their support and help, and they just made it very convenient for us to be able to be here. And also, we mentioned earlier that Lifeline is here, and they are providing free pet mobile services as well as vouchers to fix your pets. And that is because Commissioner
on cue, they're
Chakira
walking in the door.
Johnson provided funding for those free services. So I want to thank the my library crew here. They just walked in.
Lifeline just walked
in. Lifeline. Oh, hey, Lifeline. Hey. We'll have y'all come up for a minute and just introduce yourselves. So thank you, library team, Sarah Sellers and her team. If you've not ever been in this library, before you leave, please just walk around. DeKalb County does a really good job with our library system. It's an award-winning library system. It is award-winning library system. And we are very appreciative that we have this kind of space that we can come to. And the last thing that I want to say, that for as long as I have been representing District 4, and I live in District 4, I'm a proud District 4 resident, Commissioner Johnson has continued the keeping up with what you think, what you have to tell us by having these community meetings. Mm-hmm. What's great about them is that we get to also have department heads and representatives from the county be here at these meetings so that you can talk to them. Many a times we'll have our chief of police here, but our interim chief of police just got married, so we're not going to, hold that.
Put his business out there like that.
Hold that against him. So I guess he's still in the honeymoon stage, and he just said he wasn't going to be here today, and that's okay. We were able to get him to do a podcast the other day, so he cut us some time. So what's nice about these meetings for the 9 years that I've been with the county is that these meetings are consistent. They're once a quarter. If you want to be able to, and Representative Davis comes to so much of our stuff, and we just thank you for that. So it's just a great opportunity to bring folks here that are the subject matter experts, like Deborah, like Tommy, and we've got Super District Commissioner Ted Terry here, and he comes to our meetings as well. It's the one place that when you want to see your commissioner, you know it's going to happen once a quarter. And then the last thing I want to say, and I think that sometimes, who made the comment about, Mr. Thomas made the comment about, we do get complaints, and that's okay. That's fine, because we're human beings, right? And part of it is that we want to be solution-focused. We are one DeKalb. Mm-hmm. And if we don't hear from you and you don't hear from us, then it's hard to get to solutions. But I hope that what you take away from these meetings is that DeKalb County is not sleeping on the business of DeKalb County. There are a wealth of resources that happen in the county. Deborah just ran down a list of what happens in human services. Tommy talked about what's happening in terms of our unhoused family members. But there's so much more. But if you're not engaged and our information's not up here, then you're not going to know. When we do our meetings in the community, when people say, I didn't know that the library has programs for tutoring for kids. I didn't know that Lifeline does free events. I didn't know that the tax commissioner office does free events. This is why this commissioner does these meetings, and this is why we put this information out in our newsletter. Not only our newsletter, Commissioner Terry has information that he sends out. You just got to be engaged, just got to stay connected. I believe that communication is a two-way street, and as long as we're talking,
we're always going to be doing better. So thank you. So we'll open it up to questions.
Lifeline.
Lifeline. Oh, come on, Lifeline. I'm sorry, y'all stood behind me. Come on, come on.
You're fine. Thank you. Hello. I'm Macy. I'm with Lifeline Animal Project. We are a nonprofit 5013C. C3. So sorry, I'm not in the logistics on that. I run the mobile clinic. We do a lot of free vaccine events, especially for DeKalb County. We do most of them every Tuesday on county-owned properties. So, try to get animals vaccinated, try to get them in for spay and neutering. We do a lot of free spay and neutering too. Our shelters are just so overloaded with, pets, and it's getting really hard, especially for the DeKalb and Fulton County facilities. But, we're trying to get out here and try to help you guys' community as much as we can and help you guys as much as we can. And thank you guys for having us out here and paying for these vaccines that we're doing today. But thank you. Thank you. All right. Sorry. Thank you.
That was good timing. I think there's some biscuits back there still, too. Yeah, we had 60 people signed up, and I think that was capacity, wasn't it?
Yes.
Over capacity, so that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having us.
Of course, anytime. So I think we have a few minutes. It's 10:55. We are trying to end at 11, but if there's any one or two other pressing questions.
Thank you. This is in reference to Breast Cancer Week. Month. Last week, a person, 74-year-old lady, went to get her mammogram. At the counter, she was informed that her insurance had left the state of Georgia, so she's uninsured. She asked me to help her identify a resource. I went to the health department website. They only offer mammograms for women from ages 40 to 64. Women in the 70s are also being affected by breast cancer. So I would like to know, why does the age cuts at 64, and what resources are available in DeKalb County for women in their 70s?
So I do not know that answer because I was not aware of that, but we will look into it and try and get you an answer unless Representative Davis may have some information.
There was one particular insurance company that left. If you can give me the name of the person, they're trying to help the people who were with that company move over and get services somewhere else. And I just helped another senior. So let me see who you're talking about. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for asking that. I had not heard that yet.
This may not be in your purview, but it may be in yours. I would like to know why auto insurance is so high in DeKalb County. I am getting ridiculous rates, and I feel they said they're not age discrimination, but I believe there is, and also zip code discrimination.
I have a theory, Commissioner.
Oh, what is your theory,
Those non-Georgia people that moved here, bringing their bad driving habits.
Aren't you from Boston?
I am.
It's funny that you would ask that. I just had someone, about 3 people call me. You may have seen those commercials. Oh, you can bypass the middleman and then get your insurance for like $5 or something like that. Then my father called me and said, I want to sign up. I said, wait a minute, Dad. Let me check with the insurance commissioner about that. They are right now doing a study on the insurance rates here in Georgia. They going around the state and talking to different professionals, especially since they have passed tort reform. We don't even have to go into the fact that, I'll be the first ones to say this insurance is too high. Get with me later on. Know that they're trying to attack this head on, because we're going to have to come up with some ways to make this insurance, whether it's health or auto, more affordable. And with them receiving tort reform, it should happen, period, right? So we're working on that now.
And one more.
Yes, I want to piggyback on the unhoused situation. The gentleman's right here. I was going to speak with him later. I want to know why the county zoning department refuses to approve tiny houses. I have land that I could build 50 tiny houses, and that would be 50 less people on the street. And I also, other states are allowing people to build tiny houses in their backyard. Why doesn't DeKalb County allow that as well? And why does it have to go through a variance, which ultimately gets rejected anyway?
Right, so that is really a commissioner issue. I know Commissioner Terry can speak better to that, but it's really dependent on the ordinances that we have in place and whether or not we allow a tiny house, and then whether or not we will change those ordinances. But I know, Commissioner Terry, this is your wheelhouse.
Yes, we actually 2 years ago we passed the cottage court ordinance, which does allow a mixture of tiny and cottage homes up to 1,200 square feet. And it has certain stipulations, but if you're in unincorporated DeKalb County, then you could potentially apply for that classification. If you're in a city, then the city would have their own zoning code. So if it's Stonecrest, you got a councilman right here, talk to her.
We have a Stone Mountain council person here too, so yeah.
But yes, the fundamental kind of like issue in housing is that there are folks who cannot afford to live. There's folks who want to downsize, some folks who want to age in place, and the housing market, the housing zoning hasn't really changed that much. And so we have to update our regulations and laws. And I know we're working on that right now because the zoning update process has launched for DeKalb County. It'll be about a 2-year process, so expect lots of community meetings and update, rewrite. We'll see how much we change, right? But this is now the time for y'all to engage with the planning department to say what you want to see in terms of housing in your community, your neighborhood, and DeKalb County in general.
Thank you, Commissioner.
This last one, because we are at 11:01. We're trying
This is actually
keep
for
it on
you.
time.
I'd rather drive on the upper deck and lower deck in Boston than drive on 285.
Wow.
Alrighty. So again, thank you everybody for coming
I am
out.
petrified when I go home to Boston to drive. I won't
And
do
thank
it.
you, Representative Davis. Thank you.
No, yeah.